What's good? Yo, what's good, YouTube? I'm back again with another live stream. I'm not even gonna do too much. Just come back from work at like what, 11, I think? You came back from work at 11, you know? Couldn't sleep. Now I'm just streaming. That's what we do. Oh my god, my eyes are always burning, bro. I hate this shit. I don't know why my eyes always burning. Like, come on, man. Like, man up. You're a man. Stop cheering every single second. This should be pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck with it. T-Whip. Yo, how is y'all doing? I'm half asleep. Oh my god, me too. I'm so tired. Like, I just came back from work a couple hours ago. Like, I couldn't sleep and shit. Now I'm like, sheesh. Now I'm just up. And I don't got work tomorrow, which is good. So I can be up the whole day for one too. You know what I'm trying to say? Oh my god, I fucking hate this shit. Why am I tearing up? Holy moly, don't let's shop. Let me see. I got work tomorrow. Oh, I hate my life. Oh. Wait, what? Oh my god, don't worry about my bed. Do not worry about my bed. I know how to do, I have to fix my bed. I gotta fix my bed. I have to fix my, oh my god, I can't even speak. Whatever. Anyways, let's just watch the video we got today. Oh my god, I swear I just had this shit. I seen it earlier, I was like, oh, this is good. Then I just, for me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this later. You know? Come on. Come on, let's cook. We cooking, hold on. Do I look different today? Or I look the same? I don't know if I look different today. Why I cannot find the video? I finna crash out. Why I can I not find the video? I can't even speak today. I might just start speaking different language at this point. Like, what the fuck? Can't find the video. Can't find the video. Can't find the video. Okay, find the video. I found the video. Top 10 magical who dies. Okay, I gotta. Oh my god, I gotta move myself to this side. Make a little big. Okay, today we reacting to top 10 magical who dies performing magic tricks. Let's go. 2 years ago. This video was 2 years ago.
Brand should not feel this impossible. Traditional print-on-demand platforms claim to support.
Am I bleeding? I feel like I'm bleeding. Am I? Am I bleeding or is it just me? I don't know. Let's just continue the video because I talked enough for the day.
Something Houdini said that was.
Oh my god, I hate doing this. Okay, I'm gonna just wear my headset.
It will either be.
Man, shut up. Ten magician who dies performing magic tricks. I bet.
A few days before that, something Houdini said that was. It will either be fate or my foolishness.
Oh my god, why am I keep fucking it up? Okay.
That kills me.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be discussing 10 magicians who died while performing magic tricks.
But that night, March 23, 1918, his two biggest illusions failed spectacularly.
For this video, we'll be going over the tragic stories behind individuals who passed away while attempting to perform feats of prestidigitation. Were you aware of any of these stories? Let us know in the comments. Chanchal Lahiri, aka Jadugar Mandrake.
In a turbulent river, it will be very hard to open the knots and locks. But
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. My fault.
Let us know in the comments.
I'm sorry.
Chanchal Lahiri, aka Jadugar Mandrake.
In a turbulent river, it will be very hard to open the knots and locks. But I will open them. And if I do that, it's magic. If not, then it's tragic.
The specter of famed illusionist Harry Houdini still looms large over the world of magic. This perhaps explains why Indian magician Chanchal Lahiri attempted this dangerous stunt back in 2019. Known by his stage name Jadugar Mandrake, Lahiri was attempting a daring underwater escape. He was chained, blindfolded, and placed into a padlock cage. The cage was then lowered into the Hooghly River while spectators watched and waited.
When people doing this, like, what do they think like the outcome will be? I don't get why people be doing this shit. I just don't get it. I personally wouldn't try some shit like this. The only magic I would play with is the freaking cards. Anything after that, I'm not with it. Nope.
Unfortunately, Lahiri failed his attempt despite succeeding in similar stunts in the past. His body was later recovered, still tied not far from the site of his initial drop into the water. William Ellsworth Robinson, aka Chung Ling Soo. It's certainly problematic by today's standards to learn how William Ellsworth Robinson, like other performers during the vaudeville era, pretended to be a different race in order to cultivate a gimmick. Robinson went to egregious lengths to make people believe he was a Chinese man and worked tirelessly to keep his real identity a secret right up until his death. His condemned to death by the boxer's illusion was meant to showcase Robinson stopping bullets that were fired by an assistant. However, the means by which Robinson and his crew rigged the weapons eventually allowed for unburned gunpowder to ignite, expelling a bullet that struck the magician in his chest. He would die from his wounds the following morning.
For 18 years, the magician had performed in silence or spoken through a Chinese interpreter. But on the night of his death, theater-goers heard him speak English with an American accent. As Chung Ling Soo fell, he called out, "Oh my God, something's happened. Lower the curtain."
P.C. Sorcar. Born in 1913, here was a man who would eventually go on to assume the moniker P.C. Sorcar, the world's greatest magician. The title was something of a self-fulfilling prophecy, as Sorcar did indeed enjoy a thriving career as one of India's most popular illusionists. Sorcar was approaching 60 and going against the advice of physicians. When he embarked upon a long tour of Japan. It proved to be his last, as Sorcar succumbed to a heart attack on January 6, 1971 at the age of 57. It's unclear whether it was the stress of traveling or something during a show that did in Sorcar, but the performer collapsed almost immediately after the end of a stage performance in Hokkaido, Japan. Jeff Rayburn Hopper. Experience and endless rehearsal can be an integral aspect of a magician's training. Unfortunately, an aspiring enchanter by the name of Jeff Rayburn Hopper suffered a fatal accident while preparing for an upcoming performance. A New York Times article dated from the 8th of July, 1984 details how Hopper was rehearsing a trick that saw him practicing in Indiana's Winona Lake. The trick was to see Hopper escape from a chained position in handcuffs underwater. And though he was reportedly successful in completing part of the trick, he drowned before making it back to shore. He was only 23. Johan Muller, aka Balabrega. Sometimes it's not the trick that goes wrong, but some kind of horrible malfunction on stage. This is what unfortunately happened to Swedish magician Johan Muller. Muller went under the stage name Balabrega and became famous during the vaudeville era with a trick that involved assistants dressed as moths.
My God!
These moths would dance to flames produced by Balabrega via a gas that he'd become trained to safely navigate. It all went wrong, however, during a tour of South America and a performance in Brazil. The gas Balabrega usually used for his performances couldn't be accommodated and was instead replaced by the highly flammable acetylene. An explosion was triggered, killing him and his assistant. Charles Rowan, aka Carr the Magician. Charles Rowan was another magician who sought to emulate the enduring influence of Harry Houdini. He did this by successfully navigating escapes from straitjackets under the moniker of Carr the Magician. One of his most popular tricks involved escaping from a straitjacket in the nick of time in order to move out of the way of an oncoming car. A performance in South Africa proved fatal, however, when this one straitjacket was giving Rowan some trouble. The incident proved so stressful to the magician that he suffered a heart attack while attempting his escape. Carr the Magician was then horrifically struck by the car barreling in his direction. Royden Joseph Gilbert Raison de la Genesta. Escape tricks, as we've learned, can often prove fatal with only the slightest of miscalculations. Tragedy struck Kentucky-born sorcerer Royden Joseph Gilbert Raison de la Genesta on November 9, 1930. Genesta was another magician who thrilled audiences during the vaudeville era with wildly dangerous and exciting escapes. This performance was supposed to see Genesta emerge from a milk container filled with water. This wasn't an original idea of Genesta's, but rather an homage to, you guessed it, Harry Houdini. Unfortunately, a dent in the milk can was discovered only too late, and it prevented Genesta's only escape route. Because he performed from behind a curtain, no one knew anything was wrong until he was found drowned at the scene. Madame Dolinsky. It certainly takes nerves of steel to attempt the bullet trick. This is a legendary magic stunt that sees a performer either catching or avoiding a bullet that's fired at them on stage. Madame Dolinsky worked together with her husband as a couples act and performed the stunt way back in 1820. A firing squad was reportedly set up to fire the bullets at the pair, but somehow a live round was inserted into one of the guns. The bullet hit Madame Dolinsky in the abdomen. She allegedly lived a couple of days with the bullet lodged inside of her, before finally succumbing to her wounds. Sigmund Neuberger, aka the Great Lafayette.
See, bro, that's why you don't play with bullets and stuff. I don't care who you are. You can be the best magician in the world, freaking Illuminati, whatever you call that shit. Yeah, I don't play with bullets. Bullets got no name. Who the fuck come up with the freaking that idea? Like, Bullet was made to kill people, not to freaking do magic trick on some, like, you feel me? I don't know.
The vaudeville era comes up again and again with our research for this topic, which is unsurprising given that this time period brought something of a boom for many up-and-coming magicians seeking to make their mark. Sigmund Neuberger was one such illusionist, a popular and successful practitioner of prestidigitation that went under the moniker of the Great Lafayette. Neuberger thrilled audiences for years with riveting stunts and was handsomely paid for his work. However, a 1911 performance killed the Great Lafayette when a fire accidentally broke out during one of his most famous illusions, The Lion's Bride. There were a number of casualties, including Lafayette himself, who went back into the burning building in an attempt to save his horse. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our
Wait, what? He went back in a burning building?
Killed the Great Lafayette when a fire accidentally broke out during one of his most famous illusions, The Lion's Bride. There were a number of casualties, including Lafayette himself, who went back into the burning building in an attempt to save his horse. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell.
Who was he trying to save? Horse?
There were a number of casualties, including Lafayette himself, who went back into the burning building in an attempt to save his horse. Before we continue...
Wait, hold on. I'm probably missing something. He went into a burning building to save his horse. A horse. We taking life for granted. I'm not gonna lie. On God, we taking life for granted. Back in the days, people used to waste their life for a horse. He died for his horse. Now we talk shit on a horse. We got cars. We're not even gonna die for our cars. So you telling me this nigga freaking died for his horse? Crazy work. We taking life for granted, I'm not gonna lie. Damn. This shit just humbled me, I'm not gonna lie. He died for his horse. Imagine. He died for that shit. I would have just left that bitch in there and like burnt up. Like, you feel me? You nigga, isn't horse like faster than humans and shit? Nigga, run out of that building. You feel me? He crazy work. Shit.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Joseph Burris, aka Amazing Joe. An LA Times article from 1990 details the harrowing events that signified the end of a magician's early career. Joseph Burris idolized Harry Houdini and tried to impress an amusement park crowd on Halloween night with a Houdini-inspired daring escape attempt. Burris, who went by the moniker of Amazing Joe, had in the past successfully navigated a stunt where he escaped from a see-through coffin that was covered in dirt. When he tried to perform it again that night, however, the dirt ended up mixed with wet cement. As you might be thinking, the cement proved too heavy for the glass coffin.
Joe never calculated the strength of the box, nor the weight of the concrete. Perfect!
It eventually cracked the lid and, to the horror of many, buried Burris alive.
But in an eerie twist of fate, the Amazing Joe Burris lost his life exactly 64 Halloweens from the day Houdini died. Burris's stunt, buried alive, became all too real.
Yeah. Not try none of that shit. Fuck no. I advise you to not try that shit too. Cause, yo, imagine like being buried alive. Crazy what? Crazy willingly though. Willingly. Nah, could never be me. Never be me. Couldn't be me.
Meet Devoto AI.
The next video will be 6 most ridiculous ways people died. Woo!
The photo editing software that everyone's talking about.
The Darwin Prize has never been about chance. In most stories, everything is decided by a single second of overconfidence, the moment when a person is sure that nothing will happen to them. These people did not plan to die. They just ignored the obvious danger, tested the limits of common sense, or tried to prove something to others. This video contains 6 stories where the fatal outcome was not malicious intent, but a stupid decision made without a second chance. The incident occurred on August 14, 2018 in California, near one of the operating hydroelectric power plants, the technical area of which was formerly closed to visitors, but in fact has long since become an unofficial place for extreme photos. Emily Carter was 23 years old. She was studying media communications, working as a freelancer in social media, and took her online presence seriously. For her, it wasn't just photos that were important, but shots with a sense of...
See, this is why I don't take social media seriously and stuff. Yo. I post some shit and I don't give a fuck. I moved on. I post some shit, move the fuck on. Not taking this shit seriously. If this shit blow up, whoop-de-doo. If this shit don't blow up, whoop-de-doo. If this shit get 0 likes, whoop-de-doo. If this shit don't get no 0 likes, whoop-de-doo. If this shit got 1 million views, whoop-de-doo. I don't give a fuck. Nigga, my account on freaking YouTube got banned freaking couple days ago. Nigga, I did. You feel me? That shit hurt me a little bit, but I did not give a fuck. Why? Because I don't take this shit seriously. I don't take it. You feel me? I mean, you can take this shit seriously, but I'm talking about to extreme seriously. Like, talking about like doing anything for social media. Fuck no. That's not me. I got a job. Alhamdulillah. You feel me? This shit blow up? Then it did. This shit don't blow up? Well, it didn't. You feel me?
risk, from the edge, from a height, from places where not everyone dares to go. Her feed already contained pictures from the roofs of buildings, industrial facilities, and abandoned structures. That day, she arrived at the dam with two friends who assured her that they had been here before and that the main thing was not to panic and not to make sudden movements. The entrance to the territory was not physically blocked. Only a few warning signs informed about the danger: slippery surface, strong water flow, and prohibition of unauthorized persons. None of those present took these signs seriously. According to witnesses, the weather was warm, but the humidity remained high due to the constant circulation of water. The concrete surfaces of the structure had a thin, damp coating, almost invisible to the eye. It was this detail that would later become key to the investigation's conclusions. Emily walked along the fence for a few minutes, choosing an angle, and then climbed over the metal barrier on her own, holding her phone in her hand. She took a few test shots, turning her back on the technical channel where the water was moving at high speed. The footage captured on the phone shows that she was not focused on the surface under her feet, but on the composition of the shot. At a certain point, she decided to step to the side to capture more of the water flow in the shot. The sole of the sneaker lost its grip on the wet concrete. At first, it looked like a simple slip, but the slope of the structure and the lack of any support left no chance to quickly regain her balance. Emily tried to hold on, instinctively putting out her hand, but the surface did not provide traction. She fell down into the technical channel. The fall lasted a few seconds. A stream of water immediately picked up her body and pulled her away from the place of the fall. Her friends, who remained behind the fence, did not realize the scale of the tragedy at first, believing that she had simply fallen below the level. It was only a few seconds later, when they lost sight of her, that panic set in. One of them tried to run along the canal, while the other called the emergency services. The rescuers arrived in about 20 minutes, but the working conditions were difficult. The narrow design of the canal, high water speed.
By 20 minutes, she is gone. 20 minutes is like, yo, you can die within 3 minutes in the water. Like, literally 3 minutes. Yup. 3 fucking minutes, you will die. Talking about 20 minutes. Shush. She gone.
And limited access to the technical area. The search operation lasted several hours. Emily Carter's body was found much further downstream. The official cause of death was drowning as a result of falling from a height into the technical water flow zone. The investigation did not reveal any malfunctions in the operation of the hydroelectric facility. The report specifically noted that all warning signs were installed in accordance with the standards. The only factor that led to the death was the decision to go behind the fence for the sake of a shot. The phone she used to take the photo was never found. None of the images from that day have been posted online.
Well, that was a year of hell. Well, thankfully, I've got a start.
On July 2nd, 2016, in the suburbs of a small town in Texas, in a typical private sector neighborhood with detached garages and narrow driveways, Michael Reed was 31 years old. He worked as an auto mechanic in a small shop, had a reputation for being hands-on, and often took on jobs that others considered too difficult or dangerous. Among his friends, he repeatedly said that most safety instructions are written by people who have never done anything in practice. On the eve of Independence Day, Michael decided to make his own fireworks. He wasn't interested in store-bought fireworks. He wanted something more powerful, louder, and, in his words, real. The idea came after watching several videos on the internet where people demonstrated homemade pyrotechnic devices. The comments under these videos often said that everything looked dangerous, but Michael perceived this as an exaggeration. He was sure that nothing could go wrong with his experience. For several days, he collected materials, disassembled old firecrackers, collected gunpowder, and bought small metal elements that he believed would enhance the effect of the explosion. He stored all of this in his garage, which served as both a workshop and a toolbox. The garage was closed, without a ventilation system, but Michael did not pay attention to this. He thought he was working quickly and nothing critical would happen. On the evening of July 2nd, he was alone in the garage. Neighbors later recalled seeing lights on there almost until nightfall, but did not attach any importance to it because Michael often worked late. According to the investigation, about half an hour before the explosion, he finished assembling the device and decided to check the fuse. This was a critical mistake. Instead of taking the structure outdoors, or at least moving to a safe distance, Michael stayed inside, keeping the device on his desk. Vapors from the chemical components had already accumulated in the closed room, but he did not realize it. The explosion occurred suddenly, without a warning flash. The shockwave knocked the garage door off its hinges, and the dull sound could be heard several blocks away. Neighbors initially thought it was a gas explosion or a car accident. One of them saw smoke coming out of the garage and called the emergency services. When firefighters arrived, the garage was already partially destroyed. Inside, they found Michael with no signs of life. Doctors pronounced him dead on the spot. The cause was the combined effect of the blast wave and the fragments of the improvised device. Investigators quickly determined that no factory fireworks were used at the time of the explosion. They found powder residue, metal fragments, and tools he had been using in the garage. There were no signs of tampering or power grid malfunctions. All the evidence pointed to the explosion being the result of self-made pyrotechnics in violation of basic safety rules. Michael's relatives later said that he did not consider himself a risky person and sincerely thought he was in control of the situation. But in this story, it was not evil will or coincidence that was decisive, but confidence in his own infallibility. One locked garage, one homemade fuse, and one quick check were enough to end the holiday plan in death before the festivities even began. On September 9, 2019, in Ohio, near an industrial area where a freight railroad line ran through the city. Dozens of freight trains ran through the city every day. Tyler Brooks was 27 years old. He didn't have a stable job and earned money with odd jobs, but he invested most of his time and energy in his YouTube channel.
Oh
His
my
content
god,
was
I
built
finished my
around
juice.
risk, dangerous challenges, staying near infrastructure facilities, ideas that always teetered on the edge of the permissible.
Oh,
The channel's audience was small, but grew slowly and steadily. This is what made Tyler constantly increase the degree of danger. He believed that one really strong video could dramatically change his situation. The idea of racing with the train came to him a few weeks before the tragedy. He had already shot videos near passenger train tracks, but this time he decided to use a freight train, convincing himself that it was moving more slowly. Tyler studied train schedules, browsed railroad fan forums, and read comments from people who claimed to make it across the tracks without any problems. All of this gave him a false sense of control.
see what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? You should never take something you read from online seriously, bro. On God. You should never take something you read from one, like, seriously. Because people just be lying. Shit. And what was he thinking? Wasting freaking a train and shit. He thought that would be a good idea? Wasting a train? Racing a train would be a good idea. Hell no. Shit.
On the day of the shoot, he arrived at the location alone, without a cameraman or friends. He mounted the camera on a tripod so that the tracks, himself, and the approaching train were in the frame. The video was supposed to look like a test of reaction and precise timing. Tyler checked the shot several times, walking along the tracks, listening for the sound. When he heard the horn and saw the train in the distance, he had the feeling that he had more than enough time. What he hadn't taken into account was the optical illusion of the speed of large objects. The freight train seemed distant and slow, but in fact, it was moving at a much higher speed than he had anticipated. The camera captured Tyler standing on the side of the road, taking a deep breath and nodding to himself as if to confirm his readiness. He started running when the train was dangerously close. He crossed the first rails without any problems, but something went wrong in the middle of the track. Maybe he tripped over the ballast. Maybe he just lost his pace for a moment. That moment was enough. The train was already too close to stop or run away. According to the investigation, the driver applied emergency braking as soon as he saw the man on the tracks, but was physically unable to avoid the collision. The impact was fatal.
See, bro, that's so selfish of him doing that. Like, now the driver literally killed someone, right? That's like a life-changing freaking experience. Something you have control over. Not fully control over, but something you control. It hit someone that you don't even know, you had no problem with, and they died. That gave the driver, I don't know what you call it, the train driver, freaking nightmares and stuff. If that was me, I would have nightmares every single day. Imagine, you run someone over unintentionally and you don't know them. That gave the driver PTSD, trauma, everything. I don't think, like, the train driver, I feel like he quit. Because me knowing that I'm hitting this dude, it's happening. It's happening. It could be his last day. I mean, it will be his last day. I don't know him. I ain't do nothing to him. He didn't do nothing to him. Just a random person on a train wall, running. And you try your best and you couldn't do nothing. There is nothing you could do to stop that moment. That gave you survival guilt. I feel like the guy who did that, he was selfish because he didn't think about the ones who loved him. his mom, his dad, his sisters, his brothers, everything. His community, his friends, his cousins, and the train driver. Shit.
The camera continued filming for several seconds after the incident, recording only the shaking of the tripod and the sound of the braking system. The recording was not made public, but was used during the investigation. Police and railroad officials arrived at the scene. Train traffic on this section was stopped for several hours. Investigators quickly identified the deceased and the cause of the accident. There were no technical malfunctions, no outside interference. It all came down to one decision: to try to overtake the train for the sake of video. Later, Tyler's relatives told reporters that the day before he had spoken about the last chance to catch a wave. For him, it was not a joke or improvisation, but a calculated risk that he believed would pay off. But the physics of motion leaves no room for creativity. A train cannot stop quickly, and a person cannot run faster than tens of tons of metal. In this story, it was not a technical failure or someone's evil will that was fatal, but a misconception of control over the situation.
See, that's what I just said.
One miscalculation and 1 second of delay were fatal. The incident took place on June 18, 2015, in Wyoming, in a national park visited by millions of tourists every year. Robert Hayes was 34 years old. He arrived at the park with a group of friends after a few days of traveling through the western states. This was not his first trip to the outdoors, and it was this confidence in his own experience that played a key role. The night before, the group stayed at a bar near the entrance to the park, where Robert drank alcohol without considering it a problem. In the morning, they went on a sightseeing trip by car, stopping at popular photo spots. When a bison appeared on the side of the road, the traffic slowed down. Such scenes were common for this park. Animals often came out close to the roads, and most tourists were limited to taking photos from a safe distance. There were clear warnings along the road to keep a distance of at least a few dozen meters. Robert saw these signs, but did not take them seriously. He got out of the car, first to take a few pictures, and then to get closer. According to witnesses, he was joking, trying to get the animal's attention, and demonstrating confidence that he was in control of the situation. Alcohol dulled the sense of danger and created a false sense of courage. At first glance, the bison looked calm and motionless, which further strengthened Robert's belief that there was no threat. But for a wild animal, closing the distance is perceived quite differently. When Robert came critically close, the bison reacted sharply. Further events unfolded in seconds. Witnesses saw the animal make a rapid leap forward. Robert did not have time to react. The first blow knocked him down, and the second one inflicted fatal injuries. People around him started screaming.
Is that Spinky? Yo, what's up, Spinky?
Some tried to run away. Some called the Rangers. After the attack, the bison stopped and walked away, not pursuing the others. The rescue services arrived quickly, but it was already impossible to help. Doctors pronounced the bison dead on the spot from injuries incompatible with life. Rangers blocked a section of the road to calm the animal and ensure the safety of other visitors. The investigation revealed no violations in the actions of the park service.
Wait, if an animal kill a human, do they go to jail? Or they just gonna let them go? Or they're gonna kill them? I've been thinking about that shit a lot. If like a wild animal, like for me, just kill a human, like do they go to jail? Like do they have jail for animals and shit? I don't know. I be thinking about that shit lately. I be like, yo, what if like a dog? I mean, if a dog kill you, they're gonna blame the dog on. But if a bear, like for example, a bear kill me and shit, you feel me? They cut the bear. Do they go to jail, or they're just gonna kill them, or they're just gonna let them go? I'm curious. Like, what the heck?
Services. All warning signs were in place, and the rules of behavior with wild animals were clearly communicated to tourists. The report specifically noted that the bison acted instinctively, reacting to a threat to its personal space. Responsibility for the tragedy was placed entirely on the deceased. Robert's friends later said that he did not consider himself reckless and simply did not think it was really dangerous. For him, the bison was part of the landscape, not a wild animal weighing several hundred kilograms. This story once again showed that national parks are not zoos or photo ops. Wildlife does not make warning gestures and does not leave time to correct a mistake. One extra action, one step.
Yo, the day you see me going to a park, going to an empty park that got nobody on it, that they just consider me as a crazy person. Because don't believe nothing I say. Do not listen anything I say. Not going to a freaking some wild, like, you feel me, without people and shit. Nah, I'm not. Hell no.
Forward and complete confidence in one's own.
I don't even like going to the park. Shit. Let alone freaking going to, like, you feel me? I don't like going to the park. The only time I'm going to the park is when I'm playing soccer. I'll be on the soccer field. That's it. After soccer field, I'm taking my ass home. You know? I'm not. You feel me? I love nature, but damn. Nature got some evil behind it. I love nature, but nature got some evil behind it. So no.
Safety became final. New York, November 3rd, 2017, in an old residential building in Manhattan, built in the middle of the last century. The building had undergone many cosmetic repairs, but the elevator equipment remained obsolete and often broke down. Laura Mendez was 29 years old. She worked as a sales manager in a large company, used to a busy schedule and constant control over her time. Waiting was one of the most unpleasant states for her, and it was this trait that played a fatal role that evening. Lori was coming home late after a hard day at work. There were hardly any people in the building, and when the elevator stopped between floors, she took it as just another annoying but minor malfunction. She first used the dispatcher call button. The operator answered and told her that the technician was on his way, but would arrive in about 20 to 30 minutes due to traffic. According to the standard procedure, Laura should have been advised to stay in the cab, not to try to get out on her own and wait for help. There was no physical threat to her life at the time. The cabin was fixed, the ventilation was working, and communication was maintained. But for Lori, the thought of waiting in a confined space caused severe irritation. According to her family, she did not suffer from claustrophobia, but she—
Look. If the building is more than 10 floors, I'm not going in that building. Fuck no. The most building I have ever been in is like, what, 20 stories. Anything higher than that, no. Not risking my life. Fuck no. Anything could happen.
She could not stand the restrictions. A few minutes after talking to the dispatcher, she started looking for a way to get out on her own. The internet is full of videos of people demonstrating how to safely get out of a stuck elevator, and Lori knew about it. She pressed the emergency button and then tried to open the door manually. In older models, this sometimes worked. The doors gave way, and she was exposed to a narrow space between the car and the floor. She saw the edge of the concrete floor and thought she could climb over. What she didn't know was that the system could restart at any time or change the position of the cabin through automatic leveling. These processes are not felt by passengers and often occur without warning.
Damn.
According to technical expertise, it was at this moment that the elevator received a signal to reactivate. Lori, holding the edge of the opening with her hands, began to shift her body weight forward. At that moment, the car moved downward. The movement was short, but sufficient for the person between the floors to be in the critical zone. Everything happened instantly. Residents of several apartments heard the screams, and then someone immediately called the emergency services. When the technician and rescuers arrived, the situation was already irreversible. doctors pronounced him dead on the spot. The investigation lasted several weeks. They checked the operation of the elevator system, the actions of the dispatchers, and the maintenance of the building. No gross violations were found. The elevator did break down, but it was operating within emergency protocols. The main factor was an attempt to get out of the elevator on his own. The final report emphasized that waiting for help was a safe option and did not pose a direct threat to life. Lori's family subsequently filed a civil lawsuit against the management company, but the court dismissed it, citing the results of the examination. The tragedy was yet another example of how the desire to save time and refusal to wait for a few minutes can lead to irreversible consequences. The elevator was not a trap and did not pose a threat to passengers as long as they followed the instructions. But one attempt to solve everything on their own turned a simple technical malfunction into a deadly situation. In this story, there was no unexpected collapse, no malicious intent, or extreme conditions. Only impatience, overconfidence, and the belief that this could not happen to her. The incident occurred on February 21, 2020, in Minnesota, on a small freshwater lake near a residential area where locals often went out on the ice in winter for walking, fishing, or just relaxing. Daniel Forsyth was 41 years old. He worked in logistics, had a stable job, a family, and 2 children. He was known as a calm, reasonable person who was not prone to extreme actions. That is why what happened that day seemed particularly absurd to many. The winter of 2020 was unstable. Sharp temperature fluctuations, short thaws, and repeated frosts made the ice on many bodies of water unpredictable. The local authorities repeatedly warned about the danger of going out on the lakes, but no official ban was imposed. Daniel came to the lake with a few friends in the afternoon to spend time outdoors. At first, they stayed near the shore, discussing whether to go further. Some of the local fishermen were already returning from the ice and warned that the surface was thinner than a week ago. These warnings were heard by everyone, but perceived differently. Daniel thought the danger was exaggerated. He saw that the ice near the shore could support the weight of several people and concluded that the situation was under control. At some point, a conversation arose between the friends about how much more ice the ice can hold. It wasn't a direct challenge or argument, but there was a desire in the air to prove that the fears were wrong. Daniel decided to take a few steps further from the shore, assuring the others that he knew what he was doing. He was wearing winter clothes, heavy boots, and a jacket, which are usually worn in severe cold. It was these clothes that would later play a fatal role. His first steps did not elicit any reaction. The ice did not crack or bend. This further strengthened his confidence. He walked a few meters, stopped, and turned around as if to show that everything was fine. At that moment, he heard a dull, cracking sound. The ice under his feet broke sharply, and Daniel went under almost instantly. Witnesses said he didn't even have time to scream. The cold water with a temperature close to freezing caused a shock that instantly stopped his breathing. In such conditions, the human body loses the ability to control movements in a few seconds. The friends rushed to the site of the collapse, but did not dare to get close for fear of another ice collapse. Someone lay down on his stomach, trying to reach the edge of the hole, but Daniel had already gone under. His heavy clothes quickly got wet and pulled him down. Even for a physically strong person, the chances of getting out on their own in such conditions are minimal. Emergency services were called almost immediately, but it took about 20 minutes for them to arrive. The rescuers worked carefully, using special equipment to avoid falling in themselves. Daniel's body was found the next day, a few meters from the site of the collapse, at the bottom of the lake. The official cause of death was drowning due to hypothermia after falling through the ice. The investigation found no technical or external factors. The ice was indeed thin due to weather conditions, and this had been warned in advance. Daniel's family later said that he was not trying to take a risk for fun or to impress. He just decided to check out what seemed obvious. But ice is one of the most treacherous surfaces. it can withstand a few people near the shore and break a few steps further. There was no rush, no alcohol, no extreme challenge in this story. Only a calm confidence that nothing will happen, and one step that left no time to correct. All of these stories boil down to one thing. It was not a coincidence that was fatal, but a decision that seemed safe. Overconfidence, haste, and ignoring simple rules left no time to correct the mistake. The laws of physics and nature do not give second chances. If you are interested in such stories, please subscribe to the channel and like it.
That's crazy. Crazy word.
Please subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, I'm not taking chances. Fuck no. Cause like what? Oh hell nah. Hell nah. Hell nah. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna end the stream right here. Cause I have to go to sleep. Like, you know, I was at work since what? 3:30 something. Yeah, but I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you're having a good day. I was having a good day. You feel me? I hope you're having a good day. See you tomorrow. Bye. I love you. Peace.